Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. Thank you so very, very much for being here. I very much do appreciate it. If you are watching these videos and you haven't thought to subscribe, please consider it. We would love to welcome you into the Soulprint family. All right. So obviously it's the beginning of the month. We need to take a look at June. Okay. So I'm going to sort of try to do three smaller readings. I'll see what the cards are telling me, but I want to take a look at Trump. I want to take a look at the Democrats as opposed to just Biden, but the Democrats. And I want to take a look, sort of get an overall view. And then the rest of the week, I will be putting out minis. So keep your eye open for them. Again, if you have subscribed but not hit the notification bell, this is a good time to do it because there's not, it can be quite random in terms of when the videos, the minis in particular, get released. All right, let's get started. It was interesting. I saw an article talking about the fact that there has been a complaint filed with the FEC against DeSantis, something about using money from a PAC when he was running for governor and moving that money over to his run for the presidency. And so that was interesting to me because I do have a vague memory of mentioning that there would be something that came out about his finances that wasn't going to look good. So that's kind of cool. Unlike a lot of readers, I truly don't remember what I say in readings. I really, really don't. It's part of how I stay protected. And so it's very rare for me to actually be able to come on and say, hey, I said that, and look, it turned out because so, you all can feel free to let me know when I actually get something right, because for sure, I'm not really paying that much attention. Well, it's not that I'm not paying much attention, it's just that I don't retain it. All right, I want to do an overview of the US first, and then we'll drill down. So, move this back so I have a little bit of more room. And here we go. Overview June USA, overview June USA, overview June USA. Okay. I'm actually going to try to bring this down so you can see this. Mm. There we go. So I'm liking this for the states overall. There is going to continue to be growth. Okay, so job growth, growth in the economy, that kind of stuff. Um, a lot of what has been done, certainly under Biden's agenda, has been very, very fruitful. I mean, a lot of it is more bipartisan than anybody could have ever imagined. But more, it's been actually like really, really helpful and beneficial stuff. Not everything he wanted to get done has been done, which is why he very definitely needs a second term. But what you've got here is an energy of growth and abundance throughout the course of this month. And that's kind of nice because it feels like there's going to be some periods of time where things are going to feel a little bit topsy-turvy. So we've survived the whole debt ceiling crisis, which I think me and everybody else on the planet said would be resolved shortly, close to the deadline, and so that happened. But it feels like there's some more stuff going on that's just requiring some balance, and so it's important, whether this is the stock market going up and down, or whether there's some other spat of happenings or events. But it's important to remember that there is growth and there is new beginnings, and that's vital. The Three of Pentacles it's interesting because it's telling me almost two stories. The first story it's telling me is that there's going to be information coming out with regards to money and finances. And I don't think that this is, I think it's going to be more along the veins of the Ron DeSantis thing that I just spoke about, where, there's some shenanigans going on. But it's also telling me that there are those who are incredibly skilled at what they do, and they are continuing to investigate. So, in one way, this card very much is talking to me about Sheldon Whitehouse, and on the other hand, it's very much talking to me about things that um, are going to surface or have surfaced and are going to gain more momentum or more knowledge as the month of June unfolds. So whether that's more stuff about Clarence Thomas or whether that's stuff about more stuff about DeSantis or George Santos, it just feels like there's going to be more of that kind of information coming out. But look, you have the sun going forward, and so you can't really go too far wrong with the sun. You also have the Nine of Cups. So I'm really liking this. This feels like overall, the month of June is going to feel productive. It's going to feel fruitful, successful. But make no mistake, there's still going to be a couple of secrets that come out, and those secrets are going to create the death card. So those secrets are going to trigger or create the endings and new beginnings. And whether that's for some of these political runs, and all these people who are throwing their hat into the ring. I mean, it was Chris Christie, and I guess Pence is later on this week. What that's doing in the month of June, particularly, but I think overall, is it's creating a lot of confusion because there's all of these people throwing their hat in the ring, and I notice that some of them are even actually starting to kind of criticize Trump. But what it does is it's just going to clutter up the field, and it's going to it not only are some of the rollouts going to be bad, sort of like the DeSantis one, um, but it also feels like there's going to be a lot of confusion, even to the point of what does a particular candidate actually stand for, or what's his, because certainly with somebody like Pence, well, in fact, a lot of them, they were so far up Trump's butt, and now they're having to sing similar but distant tune, a different tune but similar, kind of have the same notes or just rearranged differently. And so there's kind of going to be a lot of that, like people walking around going, what the hell, who does anybody know what these politicians are actually saying? But overall, we've got another skirmish going on. And obviously this feels like it's with Congress somewhere. But again, ultimately it feels like there's going to be a victory there, like an overall victory for the United States. I'm not sure if there are any court cases coming up right now pertaining to, stuff that states or other Congress is trying to block. Like I'm thinking about the whole paying off the student loan thing. I don't quite know what the status of that is right now, but in any case, it feels as if there's going to be some strides or gains made in that department too, and so that's a good thing. All right, let's move on to the Democrats. Overall, we'll take, we'll see what it wants to tell us about Biden. But overall, I just want to take a look at the Dems because I think that they're starting to figure out that what's that expression? You can't bring a knife to a gunfight. I think they're starting to realize that it's a good thing when they actually speak out. In fact, they should be speaking out more, and they should be, filling the airwaves with their critiques and their comments about the other side. And we don't need to stoop to the level of stupidity that Republicans would say. That honestly, I got to say, I think they would be hard pressed to stoop that low. But um, in any case, here we go. U.S. Democrats, June. U.S. Democrats, June. U.S. Democrats, June. Okay. So, in some ways, again, there has been a great deal of working together or coming together, bipartisan stuff that has actually gone through. Um, and a lot of it has to do with the sort of low key and very mild sort of meandering kind of energy of Joe Biden. And that doesn't mean that he's a Scorpio. You can never underestimate them folks. But there's something about the sort of the gentleness with the way he sort of proceeds that has done a fair bit to sort of um, dose some of the crazy, right? To slow it down, to back it off. Certainly, one of the things that we saw with the debt ceiling situation was that there really are Republicans who are absolutely prepared to just destroy the United States. They didn't care. They didn't care. And that tells you a couple things. One, they don't understand how the system works. They couldn't even keep the difference between debt ceiling and budget separated. Um, but there is that fraction of people who really don't care if they blow up the United States. In fact, in some ways, I think that might actually be their intention. But not to be too worried about them because what's going to happen is more and more they're going to become like separated from most of the Republicans. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow the Democrats to be able to start pointing out specific behaviors by specific people. And certainly, Joe Biden was brilliant about doing that. For anybody who saw the television address he did last week, right? He doesn't have to name names. He just has to let it be known that certain behaviors are really crazier than others. And if you guys want to hang on to that behavior, well, go ahead. But it's going to be called out because there's far more people who are interested in seeing success and prosperity and growth than there is people who are trying to, blow up the world. Okay. So it feels as if there are going to be, um, I don't know, I almost want to say a shakeup or two, um, around a couple of Democrats. I do not know who. Um, I don't know whether you're going to hear about sort of somebody deciding not to run again or something like that, but it definitely feels like the Dems are going to take a blow or two throughout the course of June. I don't see it as being devastating because there is the support of the wisdom of words and the ability to keep things calm and centered and clear. So it feels like it's going to be a little bit of a hit, but not huge. And it is going to create a new kind of energy in terms of looking forward. So it may be that somewhere along the line, whether it has to do with indictments against Trump that may be coming down, or federally, or whether it has something to do with um, state ones that are coming down, but it feels as if it's going to create a bit of a new platform for the Dems to be able to um, refocus, if you will, their messages going forward. So I'm liking that. Overall, it doesn't look like a month for the Democrats that is going to be full of like huge wins or huge losses, but it definitely feels like it is a month where things are going to continue to, there's going to be kind of that growth and that prosperity. And I think the Dems are going to sort of get on board and maybe start to streamline some of their messages. They're getting, you know, I guess closer to that point in time where people actually start paying attention, although it typically isn't until after September. All right, and let's look at Trump. So it's been really interesting. There's been all these talks lately about how his lawyers are trying to get the case that Alvin Bragg has put together, that New York case. He keeps trying to get it reassigned to a federal court. If it's not going well, I don't believe it's going to work in his favor. But I can't help but think that part of the reason he's really wanting to do that is because he is hoping that if he gets into the White House, if it's federal, that then is something, one, that he can, if it still hasn't resolved, one, his new Department of Justice can squash, or two, if it does go through, he can, pardon himself. Um, so I'm sitting back sort of finding that entertaining because I don't think that those are likelihood. Here we go, here we go, here we go. So it looks like the Jack Smith thing is heating up and building up momentum. Trump, June trajectory, Trump, June trajectory, Trump, June trajectory. I guess his Truth Social rantings are getting more bizarre. He threw that Haley McConaughey, I think. I don't think I have that right. McNary, I don't know. You know who I'm talking about. She was his press secretary. Threw her under the bus, and apparently he's getting some real pushback um, from other Republicans because she was about as loyal could be. And it's like, well, holy crap, if you're going to throw her under the bus because, you know, she said that, and this is what it was. Apparently, there was a poll, a Fox poll, that said that he was 25 points ahead of DeSantis, and then he threw her under the bus because he saw a poll where he was 32 points. Like, come on, people. It just goes to show you it's become more and more outrageous with him. All right. He is going to continue to lose support. And it's not going to be huge. It's not going to be big. It's not going to be explosions about it. But he's going to continue to lose support. He lost apparently some support over the whole Kaylee thing. And it looks like it's going to continue because part of what's going on with him is he's in such a place of defensiveness that he's becoming more and more and more outrageous. And, people are fine to align themselves with somebody until that somebody's behavior becomes so kind of whacked that you can't even wrap your head around it, never mind try to justify it. So he's going to actually continue to lose support. Now that doesn't mean, and I'm talking about support, I'm talking about support that gives him money. So the big donors, that kind of thing, and they're appalled. They do not want him back in office. And he's going to continue to take advantage of the small donors, right? Because, those are the ones that he sells useless stuff to. Um, so there's that, and apparently that last one, I don't even know what it was, some kind of a coin thing that he was selling, or tender, like legal tender, or he was saying it was legal tender. It had his face all over it. Apparently people found out really, really fast that no, in fact, that wasn't legal tender. What you bought was a piece of paper or a coin that is absolutely worthless. So, again, he's desperate, he's doing desperate things, and it's starting to really show That desperation is not looking good on him, right? I mean, nobody ever wants to see somebody walking around in a full-on sweat, because it feels like their world is sort of spiraling a little bit out of control. He is in for a world of hurt. Okay, I don't know if this is about this Eight of Wands. I don't know if this is about Jack Smith or it is about um it's James, or it is about the Georgia thing. But it feels like it's going to be one thing after another over throughout the month of June. It's like he's going to keep getting hit with things that don't bode well for him. So again, whether that is more lawyers that have to turn over the notes and testify, whether that is um different pieces of lawsuit coming forward, whether it is more losses in the court where the dumb things his lawyers are trying to accomplish are called out for being dumb and like dismissed. But it feels like it's like almost like an avalanche of difficult energy that is going to be around him in the month of June. His messaging is not going to go well. He's going to end up, as I said, sounding more crazed, more juvenile, more childish. And that's not gonna, it's not gonna sit well with him, or anybody else, frankly. He is a little bit careening out of control. Okay, that's I think the most important thing to remember here is, see, this is the thing about him. He is capable of compartmentalizing. We've talked about this before, right? It's like, oh, this is a problem. Okay, well, you lawyer or you person, you take care of that problem for me. And I'm just going to go play golf and I'm not going to think about it. And that's absolutely true. But he is so hypersensitive to criticism. He is so hypersensitive to um, well, criticism, because he's so thin-skinned, and so that's where that sort of chaotic, kind of crazed energy comes from with him, because it's not that he's actually worrying about what's going to happen in court as much as he is truly insulted and hurt and lashing out at everybody because people are not jumping up and down and saying, oh my god, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. More and more people are saying he's really not presidential material. um, and he's also going to start getting right snippy about the fact that some of the other not nominees, but the people who have thrown their hat in the ring on the Republican side are going to start taking some pot shots on him, and he is not going to like it very much. But he is just going to get bad news after bad news after bad news, um, and and it's going to be worse. Yeah, it's going to be worse. Yeah, because fewer and fewer people are going to take his side. So there's going to be an abundance of information coming out that he doesn't like, that upsets him, that makes him crazy. It's going to make a bunch of other people in the country happy. And so that's like a double, triple slap in his face. And there is an energy of trying to rein him in, trying to get him to stop careening. Read this upside down, okay, or reversed. Trying to. He's becoming so out of control. The lawyers continue to have a very, very difficult time kind of controlling him and getting him to stop. Um, this is the thing with him, right? He does more damage to himself with a 10-minute blurb on True Social than anybody else could do to him. And so that's part of what you're going to see. It feels for Trump like June is going to be very erratic, and it feels as if there's going to be some legal surprises coming his way. Um, I'm just going to use my pendulum. I don't think, I don't know, let's see. Pendulum. Is Jack Smith going to file, I guess, hand over his report regarding the Trump investigation, so at Mar-a-Lago and election interference, or the January 6th thing. Um, is he going to hand that report into Merrick Garland in the month of June? Okay, we're getting a yes. I will try to narrow it down a little bit. Is that likely to happen sometimes after the 20th of June? Mhm. So more in the latter part of June, it looks like, that's gonna get handed over to Merrick Garland, and then, then there has to be the, "Yep, we're gonna go through with this," and then the indictments, et cetera, et cetera. So, um, is this something that Trump is are the indictments gonna come out against Trump in June? That's a really tiny, it's almost non-movement. Is July more likely? Yeah. So you got Bonnie Wills in July or August, and now you have um, Jack Smith. Okay, so that's what I know for right now. Thank you for all your feedback on the minis and the long versions and the seeing the cards and not seeing the cards. I appreciate all of it. I read all of it, and I'm every reading I do is energetic, and so it sort of feels like where the energy is and what's going to get the words and wisdom across the best way. Thank you very, very much for being here. I am so grateful for your ongoing and continued support. Please don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I appreciate all of it. Take care now. Bye bye.